Hello everyone, I'm Rich Lamont. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. I started this channel to share my love of salmon flies and fly tying. I cover everything from spay flies to salmon flies to artistic flies. I cover techniques. All my flies are step by step, so that way you can follow along. I try to give as much detail and specifics as I can throughout the whole process. That way it's much easier to understand, but you can also try out certain techniques and see certain things that I do. If there's anything that you ever need to know, or you have a specific question, by all means, shoot me a message. I'd be happy to make a video about it. Mondays, I'll be doing material reviews, everything from all the different pheasants that we use to different hooks, different threads and silks, tinsels, and more things that are used in salmon flies. So if you guys enjoy the channel and you like a specific video, by all means, please hit the thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed, think about subscribing. That helps out the channel, that helps me out. And leave your notification bell on. That'll let you know when I post a new video, and you'll be able to follow along before anybody else. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get on with it. So welcome back to also Material Mondays. Right now we're in my kitchen, and I'm going to show you guys how to steam and prepare golden pheasant tippets, and then we'll head over to the vise and I'll show you how to apply them to the flies in several different ways. So yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I do is get a pot of boiling water going. Now, you could use a steamer, or I've heard of some guys using an iron. This is the way I do it for now anyway. I should probably get a feather steamer. But for those of you that don't have a feather steamer, this is actually a really decent way to get started. So first, before we actually steam them, let me show you how to unwrap them. So this is a typical golden pheasant head from Hairline. And this is one from Feathers MC. But both of these are in similar form that you would get a lot of times where the feathers are kind of scrunched together, flattened out, and you can see that you know, they need a little bit of work. So I'm going to show you guys how to prepare these. So the first thing is to separate the crests from the tippets. Now I'm using my anadromous scissors. These, by the way, these are the razor scissors that they have, which are absolutely phenomenal. They're super sharp, and they stay that way. I've got several pairs of scissors. This pair I've had for almost 3 years, and they're still plenty sharp. So what you want to do is get right up underneath, spread those tippets out, and get them away from the crests. And then you'll take your scissors and just cut these away. And now that you've got the crest separated, you can soak these, and just like in my previous video from last week, you can soak them and shape them by rolling them up onto a towel. But that's not the focus of today's video. So before you do anything, underneath here, you'll notice there's a bunch of very small reddish colored feathers. I like to clip those out and save those for an Indian crow sub. They work quite well. But again, not the focus of this video. So what we'll do is we'll just start plucking these. We'll separate them all out. I'm not going to do the whole neck, but I'll do plenty of each size. Typically when I do this, I'll do the whole neck. But for the sake of time, I'll just do some. Alright, that should be good. the rest of the way for now. And you'll see some of these are sort of bent and twisted, as you can see here. Not exactly, great form. Some of them they need to be straightened out a bit. So what we do is we get a pot of boiling water going. And once that actually starts to boil a bit, you can hold these right over the steam. If you want to watch your fingers a little bit, hold it over the edge. And the steam will get into the feather, and that will actually cause it to kind of get some of that moisture in, and that'll start to reshape it. Not quite boiling enough, but it's getting there. I like to just play with the fibers just a little bit. As you can see now, it's opened back up and looking much better. So we'll take that and we'll set that aside on this towel here that I have laid out. Here's yet another one that's kind of misshapen and deformed. Get you a little bit closer. Alright. So again, we'll just take the feather over the steam. And as that steam gets into it, just kind of rough it with your fingers just a little. Now you see the fibers are all spread out. It still has a little bit of it's still a little misshapen, so hold it over the steam just a little bit longer. And you'll see it'll start to straighten out all on its own. Just like that. And then take that and lay that back out on the towel as well. And then you just repeat that process with all of them. And you see this one's quite flattened out, quite narrowed out from being on the neck. No deformed. So just hold that right over the pot. Doesn't take very long. Now even without touching it, it'll start, you'll see it, you'll watch it start to spread out and take its better shape, as you can see. I haven't even really fluffed it up at all. It'll start to take that shape, and then you can just kind of tap it a little bit. And when you tap it, kind of go in the direction of the way the fibers are growing. And that'll give you the nice flat shape that you want. Here's a smaller one that's also quite narrowed out. A couple little taps. As you can see, it's already starting to take shape. This is a bit time consuming, but once you've got it all done and you've got your pairs made, it's well worth doing. There's a good one. You can see this one definitely needs some help. Oh, just hold it right up over there. Now you can see how much wider that is already. And this is how I steam them. This is all there is to it. It's relatively simple. Gets the folds out of them, gets them nice and spread out and ready for tying. Now some necks that you'll get will already be relatively nice and spread out, and some of the feathers don't really need to be messed with. But if you get a neck that's kind of folded around like that one there, like this one here, this is a real simple way to get them unfolded. Like you can see with this one, these fibers right here on this side have folded in. Get it right up over that steam. There it is, no longer folded, nice and flat. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and just finish steaming the rest of these really quick, then I'll show you how we pair them up, and then we'll head over to the vise. Alright, you can see here I've got them all steamed and ready to go. They're all laid out. Now it's just time to pair them up, so I'll show you how to do that. Now I've ordered some of these are 3" by 4" little baggies. These work great for holding your pairs. So now when you're pairing them up, it's really important to make sure that you get shape correct and that you get the barring correct. So you want to look at, if you see these two are, well, not quite the same length. This one's a little bit longer. So what I would do is pass on that one and go for something that's a little bit more same size. Like those. And then if you lay them back to back, okay, right here at the base, you'll see this is where the feather curves a little bit. Just use your thumb and kink that just a little bit. That'll help straighten them out. And then they will sit back to back a little bit easier, and you can get a better idea of whether they're going to be a good pair or not. And these two I don't think are going to be a very good pair. They don't seem to have quite the right curvature. So if you look, this one has a slight curve to the right. So now we want to find one that's got a slight curve to the left. These two are similar length. The barring looks like it's good. Line them up. And again, these two don't seem to really want to coincide either. Let's try these two. These two look like they might be a better fit. Again, this is also another longer process, but well worth it in the end. Okay, see, these two you can put together, and they don't fight each other as much. What I am seeing, though, is the barring is not quite lining up the way I want them to. So once again, I'm going to have to pass. And I just keep going through this until I find a pair that really like each other. Here we go. That's a pair that fits together good. They've got coinciding curves. So we'll take those, throw them into a bag. That pair is ready for a fly. Let's try some larger ones. That's a nice large pair. They seem to coincide well. They seem to sit together well. And when you put them together, it looks like one feather from either side. So that's a pair we want to keep. And also keeping them in the bag will help keep them flatter as well. And this is just, again, kind of like steaming, just a process we continue to go through. Now if you look at this feather here, the fibers have already started to pull away from the stem a bit, so this one's no good for actually a married wing or for any sort of wing. But we can use this one for what they call tippet and strands, and I'll show you that later on when we get to the vise. So we'll set that one aside and then continue to go through our larger feathers. It's another nice pair. This will make the process of selecting your tippets for your flies a lot easier once you have them all paired up. So I'm going to go ahead and just finish pairing these up now, and when I'm done with this, I'll see you guys over at the vise. Alright, we're over here at the vise, and you can see I've got a little, it's a Duran Ranger-ish fly. I just kind of whipped this up really quick for this demonstration. So I've picked out a couple of pairs for setting these wings. Now this is a double wing. There's two sets of tippets on here. So let's show you how to do that first. The process is very similar actually for doing a single set, so we can actually go right into that as well. Now when you're setting tippets, it depends on the look that you want. The more modern way of doing things, and you'll see a lot of married wing flies, the tippet lines up with the butt. So when you tie it in, you'd be tying it in like that. So that barring right here, this first bar lines up right with the butt of the fly. That's more of a modern way of doing it. A lot of the other flies, you know, the barring and the butt doesn't really matter. It's just more of a matter of symmetry and how you'd like it to look. But typically, you know, your tippets can be as far as the bend, or some of them, people like them a little bit shorter before putting the married wing over the top. For this one, for a Durham Ranger, what we'll do is we're going to strip away all of these here that don't have any barring on them. We're going to strip those right away. I'm sorry. So right here you can see there's no barring there, and there's no barring on these on the bottom. So we'll just take those and strip those away. Those really aren't all that necessary, and if anything they'll just kind of get caught up with the dubbing and the hackle. So now for this particular fly, we're going to have, like I said, two layers. One's larger, one's smaller. The smaller being shorter. So just as a mock-up here, I'll lay the two over each other like this. Now for these Ranger flies, I do like the barring to line up with the butt of the fly, so the bar on the shorter feather will be the one that lines up on the butt, not the longer one. So it would look like that. Even lengthen it just a little bit. So it would look very similar to that. Just going to remove all these hairs here, all these fibers that don't have barring on them. Now with the shorter feather, and this one here, this shorter one, I'm going to take the barring off the bottom, but I'm going to leave the top. The reason for that is for fullness, but also once you remove the bar, once you remove those, you leave a bare stem, the bare rachis, and you don't want to leave just a bare rachis kind of hanging out there. So it'll look a little bit better if we do that. One more step for preparation is to find the tie-in point. This is the backside feather, so your tie-in point is going to be right up there. Excuse me, it's going to be a little farther back. There. Already lined up. Okay, so it'll be right here at the tip. And then we'll use our flat nose pliers and just flatten these out. We'll do the same with the near side. And then we'll put them together. Alright, so this is the larger pair. And now that I've got them together, you can see that this rear one has a little bit more of the fibers showing. So those that are showing, you want to remove those. Okay. Now you can try to tie all 4 of them in together. That is a little bit on the challenging side. But it is doable. Just gotta line them all up. Bear with me, I have one that doesn't want to cooperate very much. I'm going to try just 2 at a time. Okay, and then we'll take the smaller one. Alright, now the feather you can see is starting to kind of stick up a little bit, and that's just because of the hackle and because of the dubbing. That's really simple. We can put like what's called a little Z-bend in there. So we've already got the tie-in point. So now we'll just come a little bit forward from the tie-in point and put a bend in there, and that should bring it down just a hair. This same technique is used in married wings as well. When you have a problem with your tippet sticking up too much, you can put that little Z-bend in there and that'll help it sit right. And you want to make sure the stems of your tippets stay on their respective sides and not crisscross. If they crisscross, that can screw up the way that the feathers sit. Now, a shorter one. That one should sit right where we want. I'll just pluck away a little bit of the material that was in the way down here. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll just do a little bit of a Z-bend, kink it a little bit for the thread. And if you're having trouble with the feathers sitting, the way you want, you can wet your fingers just a little bit and then run that over the feathers, and that'll kind of help keep everything in line. So now we'll do the same thing with the back side. Just trying to get it around this hackle. Alright, so that's how you set 2 pairs of tippets. And then after this, the topping would go over it, sides would go on. Now also in Ranger flies there's a jungle cock that sticks out through the middle of these. But for this demonstration, this was how to set single tippets and then double tippets. So that's how you do that for Ranger flies or any of the other flies that require double tippets. And then tippets as underwings as well. This is exactly how you would set them. Same way, the Z-bend right there and laying them out. Now, like I said, it depends on how you want to do it. You could have the barring line up with the butt, and you don't have to. But That's how you do it. So next, let's move on to tippet in strands. This is a little bit different, but it's a little bit slightly more difficult, but very, very doable. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so first I want to apologize. I just realized my air purifier was still going. I know that sounds kind of like a jet engine in the background. All right, so here's a smaller fly. This is one from the core collection, lemon-ended gray. Not overly thrilled with my hackle selection, but that's not the focus here. So first I want to point out one thing. Earlier I was talking about the small feathers underneath the neck of the golden pheasant, and these are them right here. And I said they're good for a Indian crow sub. Well, I decided to use one here, and it does look pretty good, as you can see. So I just wanted to point that out really quick. And now to do tippet in strands. So you guys remember this feather from earlier. This would be the one that, better angle on this. This is the one earlier, as you can see, that part started to peel away from the stem. So we're going to go ahead and use this one. So now for tippet in strands, the first thing you want to do is strip away anything that doesn't have barring on it. So basically all of these can go. Those are just going to be in the way. Now what you want to do is very firmly grab the section you want to use. And you want to very firmly hold that. You don't want to let it slip at all. And then peel that away from the stem. And once you've got that peeled away, grab the base. And now you'll have this. So what you want to do now is take this and you want to rotate it counterclockwise. And as you do that, that's going to reorient the fibers into so they have like an angle to them, as you can see. And you want to do that to the opposite side as well. So once you've got your one pinch looking like that, gently and carefully set that down. Go back to your feather and do the same thing on the opposite side. So you don't need two feathers for this. You can just use the same feather. So you'll grab that pinch, hold it firmly, peel that away. And now this one, since it's the opposite side, you want to flip it over so you're looking at the back side of it, and do the same thing. Just twist it counterclockwise so you have that angle. Now you want to take both sides and put them together like you would regular tippets, so they're back to back. Once you've got them back to back, and they've got an angle to them like that, you can always make that angle even deeper, like so, and lay that up onto the fly. And you want to tie those just like you would a married wing. Very gently. Now you see how that sticks up a little bit. That's being pushed up a little by the hackle and the dubbing, but that's okay because when you actually mount the mixed wing on top, that'll actually help push that down a little bit. You see, you'll see these tippet and strands a lot with more mixed wings than you do married wings. Married wings are, like I said before, kind of more of a modernized fly. There are some that are somewhat married, but if you go back to the early 1900s and late 1800s, the era of like the Court collection, in times of like William Blacker and Rogan and Tolfrey, a lot of those guys, when they tied their flies, were tippet and strands. So that's how you mount those on there. Now the other thing that's really good to do is to go down the center of the fly on top and very gently just pluck away a lot of those fibers from the hackle. You don't have to pluck on the sides or on the bottom, just on the top to kind of create a little channel for your tippets to sit in. Same thing goes for married wing flies. But as you can see, this is tied in kind of in front of the throat right there, and that's what's kind of pushing it up. So you just rely on the mixed wing itself when you set that on top. That will help push this down just a little bit. And I'll do another video at some point on tying in mixed wings and tying in married wings. But for now, that concludes the video for tippets. I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's anything I didn't cover that you guys, that one of you feels, I need to touch on a little bit more, please reach out to me, let me know. I'd be happy to do a second video on this and kind of update it and cover anything that you need. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please think about subscribing. That helps out the channel. That helps me out. It lets me know that, I'm doing something that you guys like. And it gives me more motivation to keep tying for you guys. Not that I need much motivation, and I really do enjoy doing this. But also don't forget, December's giveaway is live. I'm giving away a pair of Cory Bustard feathers, a pair of Florican, and the bag of scraps that you guys so very much wanted to see given away. Just head over to the video that I put up for that and leave your name in the comments, or leave a comment yourself, and that automatically gets you entered, just so long as you are a subscriber. That being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I couldn't do this without you. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.